I hate splits at this point in my life. It's such a gym bro thing to do, in my opinion.
Just create your own regimen because you're your own person.
It is not about losing weight. It's not about looking good. It's training to be able to handle your life. And not just your life now, but your life in the future.
So, end all be all, go for a walk and eat real food.
Today we're talking about movement, but not in a train harder, push more, no days off kind of way. We're talking about how doing the minimum effective things consistently, like daily steps, strength training a few times a week, and simple mobility work can lead to maximum benefits for your body and your quality of life. Most of us are sitting more than our bodies were ever designed to handle. Our jobs require it, our lifestyles encourage it, and then we wonder why we feel stiff, inflamed, tired, or disconnected from our bodies. In this episode, we're breaking down why movement doesn't have to be extreme to be effective and how small, sustainable habits can build a strong, capable body that supports you for decades. Let's get into it. I know, obviously, we're well into the new year at this point, but exercise is something that I personally struggled with when I was trying to live a healthy lifestyle. It's not something that we grew up seeing. I didn't know that working out in a gym was a thing. We had some exercise equipment at home, but I don't know, it just never really excited me or interested me other than the sports that we were in. But then once I was going to change my lifestyle, I had made the decision, I didn't know what that was going to look like. I knew that my boyfriend at the time, now husband, he had worked out for years, he had always exercised, so I was just going to take his lead on things. And I'll even say now, sometimes I think that his exercise is a little extreme. He's pretty good now, but back then he was a boxer. So all of the cardio, all of the ab work, that's all I did. And it was 5 days a week, and it was running to see as fast as you could run, how out of breath you could get pretty much. And then let's just kill your abs. And that was the workout. And it was awful. And I hated it. And I didn't see how I could ever continue that. And had I thought that that's the way that it had to go, I would not be where I'm at today. So if we can kind of break down what exercise could look like, what it doesn't have to look like, and even just give some background, we weren't designed to sit all day, but now we're commuting into work, half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, one way. And then we're sitting at a desk for 6 to 8 hours a day. And then we're commuting that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour back home. And then we're sitting to eat dinner, and then we're exhausted. So we're sitting and watching TV, and then we lie down all night. We were not designed to do that. Not at all. And the people that don't work out, I understand how exhausting the day is, but I feel that's where we have to get kind of creative with our time and where we can fit things in where it's going to be more appealing, if that makes sense.
Yes. And I think I've said it previously on the podcast, but I'm the healthiest I think I've ever been in my life, and this is the least amount I have quote unquote worked out. Because even at my heaviest weight, I was still working out at least 3 times a week, in specifically in a gym at least 3 times a week, and then sometimes doing little at-home stuff. And now I do not actually go to the gym. It's all pretty much at-home body work kind of stuff, walking, and I don't really feel like it's a workout, more of a wellness situation, but a big thing I love is my vibration plate. I talk about it a lot. But that's to just help with that lymphatic drainage, which what Kaylin was just saying about how we are sitting and stagnant for a lot of times. It's not allowing our lymphatic system to work and do its job, which what it does is it moves the toxins throughout your body to get rid of them. And if we're not allowing it, we're not waking it up and allowing it to do its job by just simple, easy movements, we're going to become sicker individuals.
And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, now I have to go buy a vibration plate, how much do those cost? You don't. I'm pretty sure just you kind of let into, like, you can get your lymphatic system to drain by just simply exercising. You don't have to be on a vibration plate.
Yes. And there's getting the lymphatic drainage system moving. It has been a thing that's gone on for hundreds of years, and the vibration plate has not been around for hundreds of years. So there is just easy things such as like swinging your arms, doing like 100 little jumps in the morning, just strictly waking up and getting the blood flowing, or just opening up your lymphs in the morning to allow the fluid to flow through them easier because it was just stagnant all night, like, can be huge.
I always like to bring up, and I'm pretty sure it was like Newton's first law of physics, is like an object in motion wants to stay in motion, an object at rest wants to stay at rest. And that goes for our bodies too. If you're sitting all day, all you're going to want to do, and like it's really not your fault, like your body's at rest, it wants to stay at rest. That's what's comfortable. But if you're someone who's like, man, I'm just really low energy, I don't want to move, I will guarantee you once you start moving, you're going to want to keep moving because that's just how the law of physics works. So just something to think about if you want to go a little nerdy. But there's some research and like statistics that I found. We already talked about like the 6 to 8 hours per day. I would say that adults probably sit twice that, if not more, a day, which is kind of sad because there's only 24 hours in a day. So if you're sitting for 16, sleeping for 8, that's not great. So another piece of research shows that prolonged sitting is associated with risk of cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome, and early mortality, even in people who exercise, which that's kind of interesting to me. But that just goes to prove my point that just because there's still an increased risk with exercise doesn't mean that you just shouldn't exercise and sit all day. Like, you're going to live a better life if you move. I feel like I'm going to be like on a high horse on that this entire episode. But some studies also suggest sitting more than 8 hours a day increases all-cause mortality risk by up to 15 to 20%. Do you know how much 15 to 20% of your life is? Like,
That's definitely like,
we're not talking
I
like
mean,
3%. 15 to 20.
Yeah, if you're destined to live 100 years, that's 15 to 20 years.
It's insane. And that's a lot of
And
life.
generally we don't live that long.
Yeah, so take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing to remember is that our bodies were not meant for sitting at a desk. That's not what they were built for. They were built to move. They were built to hunt. They were built to gather. They were built to be active. And especially with just like society and where our generations and everything are going, the convenience of things, it's easier to not do anything. But who said that life was supposed to be easy?
Yes. And I agree. I feel like it's difficult because we're in such a technology world as well, to where a lot of those jobs are sitting at a desk for prolonged periods of time. And there's so much that you can do at a desk that I feel like people do forget, but also, like, you have a desk specifically where you work pretty much all day, and then you have a walking pad. Your desk rises up and you have a walking pad that you can put underneath. Now, she has a home office, of course, so people that have regular office circumstances, just setting like an alarm on your phone, or just watching the time if you don't want to disrupt others around you with an alarm, and then just going for like a little bit of a walk every hour.
If you have an Apple Watch, it'll just vibrate on your watch. So then that could be your little cue. But I think even like if you are in like an in-office situation, like I'm more than positive a lot of employers nowadays are working with like what's going to bring the most positive work life into and health, taking health into account as well. I don't know who would be in charge of that. I would talk to your boss, talk to HR even, and just ask like, could I get a standing desk? And it doesn't have to be the entire like desk that rises, but they have just like computer systems that'll just raise your screen, raise your mouse and your keyboard so you can just stand. Even if it's not moving, you're at least standing. You can rock back and forth. You can, do calf raises, get your blood flowing, things like that. Because even just standing is more beneficial than sitting.
Yes, I agree. And well, you used to have kind of an in-office job.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like kind of toll that even took on your body and you didn't even have it for that long?
Well, see, it's a good thing my employer was a large employer, so I'm not worried about anyone hearing this. I joked sometimes that they paid me to socialize and go for walks because they actually did have a program that you could apply for. Like, so when you're writing out your time card, you could have 3 hours for exercise during the work hours. So 3 hours of your time for the week could be dedicated to exercise. They even had a gym. I do feel like I went for at least a 30-minute walk daily. So I guess at the end of the week, that was like 2.5 hours. So I would just go outside and walk. Every time I had to pee, I would go to the farthest bathroom that I could find that was within reason. Every time I finished my water, I would go and take a lap. Like, I was always finding reasons to get up and move because I hated sitting so much.
Yes.
So that's my answer. If you're listening to it, you might get fired for doing what I did, but
it's very true. Like, I have the opposite job where, like, when I get a moment, I'm like, someone get up. If you're sitting in one of the chairs in the break room, someone up, I need to sit immediately.
I feel like a lot of nurses are that way as well.
Yeah, because a lot of times I only get, like, a little bit of time just to, like, sit down for a second and then I'm back going. So I can't really necessarily relate to the office circumstance, and I've never had a job to where I could relate to that. But I know I personally, I stand all day to work and my Aura ring just goes crazy because I guess I just like take little tiny steps all throughout the day while I'm standing. And it calculates them as steps, and I have to take that into consideration that I'm not necessarily like really moving. But just having, like Kaylin said, even a standing desk option and have the opportunity to then sit if you do want to sit, but like having that option even to stand up is a game changer.
And one thing I had joked about, did I ever do it? I actually did do it. And I don't think I brought one in. I had a ball, I think, at my desk, like an exercise ball. So I would sit on that because that at least like engaged my core and I could like move around. Like I'm when I would sit in my chair, my feet would be on the floor and I'd be doing this the whole time. And like, I don't know if that just means I have like a nervous tick or something, but like I was always moving. I really do think I got a ball in my office. I could be wrong, but that's another option too. And it's pretty affordable if they'll allow you to bring in your own exercise ball. Another option.
They also have, I don't know if you've seen those little like stair stepper things that you can do while sitting in a chair that you can just like put underneath a desk. So if you don't want to like go to like HR and ask for a standing desk, or like if you're getting in trouble for walking around too much and you like just want to move the legs and get some blood circulating in the legs, throw one of those underneath your desk.
Yep. Because at the end of the day, what it's doing is getting your blood moving, and that's what's important.
Yes. Because I know I've said it like 100 times in this podcast, and I'll probably say it 100 more times, but getting the blood moving, getting the lymphatic system moving is what moves the toxins through the body in order to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm. And I think talking about like the whole like steps thing, I think the best way to kind of monitor and track that is to set a step goal. And I know we've all probably heard of this at some point in our lives. I feel like everyone's heard of a step goal, 10K, this, like whatever. But there is actually research that shows that like just getting steps is so good. Like it's massively underrated, and it's not like you have to be running and training for a marathon for your steps and movement to count. Like simply going for walks, getting 7 to 8K steps a day, it lowers your mortality risk even more than just getting like 3 to 400 or 3 to 4,000 steps a day, which is like kind of crazy. I mean, it's only double, but per day, like if that can extend your life by just getting a couple extra steps a day, like I do get a shit ton of steps every day. I decided this year I'm going to track how many steps I walk and convert that to miles to see how many miles I walk this year.
I used to be a lot better about tracking the steps, and I think I'm a lot better about tracking the steps in the summertime because we're so close to walking outside season.
I know. And then it gets like down to 17 again. And I'm like, I thought we were almost there.
Well, we were able to get a few walks outside this year so far because there were some times where it was like 45 and it's like, okay, we can do it. We'll bundle a little bit, but we can do it. But I'm so excited for the actual walking outside time frame. I feel as if in the summer it's so much easier to get movement and activity to where we really have to make a conscious decision in our minds to get this movement in the winter, which I personally struggle with a lot, but I can let you know kind of generally how I run my day in order to help that.
Yeah, I personally, like in the last year and a half-ish, like things have been ever changing. So I've been focusing the most on just simple steps. Like even when I was ready, I wanted to start working out again, but like Josie was a Velcro baby. Like it was very difficult for me to work out and hold her in whatever way that she wanted to be held at that moment. So that's when I decided like baseline, I'm focusing on my steps. And I think I started like my step goal at like 6,000. Well, having a baby who never wanted to sit, that was pretty easy to hit every day. So that was helpful because I was just like walking around the house holding her because she liked movement. But now, while she's not like the best at independent playing, especially if she knows like I'm in the next room over, or if she hears my voice, then she just wants to be wherever I'm at. So even now, I don't really get a whole lot of opportunity to at least get steps in unless I'm like carrying her or I put her in a stroller, which where we live isn't super like stroller accessible. So what I try to do is when she naps, I'll hop on my walking pad because I know that that's a fast track way to get a bunch of steps in. Usually I'll have some work to do. If not, I'll just scroll on my phone. Either way, I'm not sitting when she naps, but when she's awake, like I'm trying to walk as much as possible, like move around, get up, get down, because not only is that good for mobility, but it also is good for just like the structure of your bones, the structure of your muscles, and just like moving, like in ways that you're not used to moving, like getting up, getting down, getting up, getting down, like switching your weight from one side to another, standing up while holding a kid, like adding 20 pounds to your body. Like those are things that are really important to be able to do. I saw a reel the other day. One of my coach friends had posted. She has a grandmother that she's working with. She works at an in-person gym right now, but this woman was doing, they were like the big like medicine balls, and she was just like going from probably about, it was like a foot off the ground. She was taking this ball and she was squatting all the way down with it. And in the caption, she talked about how this grandmother wanted to make sure that she was able to pick up her grandson. So she was training to be able to pick him up in a safe way so she wouldn't hurt her back. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. But my thing is, start before you're there. Nothing wrong with starting when you're there, but the more preventative action you can take and the more preventative steps you can take, literally, the better off you're going to be when you get to that situation. So you're not playing catch up. But I just thought that was really, really sweet. So that's as far as like steps for me. My goal is to get a minimum of 8K steps every day. And I think I started that before December. I just wasn't tracking it in December. But so far, month of January, I've hit that goal every day. Month of February, I've hit that goal every day. And so far, month of January, I walked 136 and a half miles. And I'm excited to see just how many miles I'll walk by the end of the year, because why not?
That's super fun. Now when you are like going to the gym, what is that kind of looking like?
So like I said, I just started back to the gym last week, but my workouts have always been primarily strength training based, and not because like I just want to have a six pack and like look good. Obviously, that's a benefit, and I don't have a six pack, but I feel good, so that's what matters. But strength training protects your metabolism. It protects your back, your hips, your everything. So that's the main reason that I strength train. That's why I teach all of my clients to strength train, because it's just an important piece that a lot of people missed, 20, 30 years before we were around. Like, it was just all cardio, which is not very beneficial. Obviously, it's beneficial for your cardiovascular health and your heart health. But when it comes to strength training, that's where your metabolism is affected. That's where your longevity is. And especially for women, that's helping us work against like osteoporosis, osteopenia, and things that pop up later in life when you aren't building muscle. So I'm usually always doing some type of strength training, whether it's dumbbells, whether it's resistance with like bands or even cables. So that's really what I focus on. And I don't do anything crazy. I've started going back to the gym twice a week. I may start doing at-home workouts on like Saturday. I haven't decided yet. Saturdays are seemingly getting busier, so like if that turns into like just walk activity, like I'm fine with that. But in the gym, I'm doing dumbbells, either barbells or Smith machines, cables, and then just like core work. But I don't go for a crazy amount of time. Like, I think I was there for maybe 40 minutes today. That included my warm up, my cool down, and my workout and my rest time. So it's nothing crazy, but I know even though it's not much, like you could look at it and be like, oh, I can only go to the gym twice a week. It's not worth it. Like, I was paying for my gym membership for the last 3, maybe even 4 months, $40 a month, and not using it at all. Like, that's not worth it. Going at least twice a week at least feels a little more worth it in my eyes. That's just me. I know we've talked about your exercise a bit, but do you want to kind of like recap and talk about that again here, since we have this episode for it?
Yeah. So again, the vibration plate in the morning, that's more of wellness, not so much exercise. I then do a lot of just body weight things. I also have a walking pad at my house. And I'll try and walk on that or walk outside, things like that after work. I said I'm on my feet all day, so I do get some walking in more than the average office person. But strength training wise, I'm never more than a 10-pound weight. it's just like building the muscle to be able to support my body. And that's why I really like body weight workouts and things like that, because I don't really need to lift like a boulder or anything. I need to be able to lift my body every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have like a split either. I know that sounds like bad.
I love that you
but
brought that up.
Well, explain to the people what a split is so that way they know.
So,
because it's not like a.
I hate splits at this point in my life. It's such a gym bro thing to do, in my opinion. Like, if you do that, that's fine. I'm not judging you for it, but I just think it's unnecessary and kind of gym bro-y. But like, Mondays, it's back and buys. Tuesday, it's quads and glutes. And like, just having two specific muscle groups, or even just one muscle group that you're working every time you work out. Like, I think it was 3 years ago, I was introduced to doing just all full body workouts. I was really like, are you sure about that? But I have never loved working out more than just doing full body. And I know that's what you do too.
Yeah. Like every day. So like every day I do something with the biceps. I do like the same arm workout with the 10-pound weight pretty much every single day. I do about 100 squats every day. Sometimes I'll do like leg kickbacks just to work like different muscle groups, but I will also do them every single day. I'll do abs every single day, like calves every day. Like it's always kind of the same thing. I'll infiltrate things in and out. What I 100% do every day though is 100 squats.
Non-negotiable.
And pretty much just to like get, because it is kind of somewhat of a full body workout that gets the, not full body because it's not your upper half, but it gets your heart going a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you do them
That's
all
what I
like
enjoy.
in one set, or do you break them up?
No, I'll break them up. And even too, I've seen like, that's another thing. Like if you want to do 100 squats a day, you have so much time in a day to do it. Like you can do 10 squats every hour for 10 hours throughout the day, nothing sore, but you're just moving that body, which is so great. I actually will do about, sometimes I'll do 30 squats on the vibration plate, and then I'll do 30 more squats before I start my arm workout, and then I'll do my arm workout, and then I'll do 40 squats with a resistance band when I'm like doing leg workout type of situations. But I really just use my own body weight. Now, with that being said, I do have a full kind of bench set and gym in my basement, but I don't use it. That's mostly my husband. And I have before been the person that's like, do the heaviest weight. Like I need to do the heaviest weight at the gym, like put it up to 200. And like it's like, why do I need to be able to push like 250 pounds with my legs? Like I don't
weigh that.
I don't know what I'm training for.
I think,
you know?
I think the important thing to train for and to get in your head is not about losing weight. It's not about looking good. It's training to be able to handle your life, and not just your life now, but your life in the future. And everything that you do now affects that future. I had even been looking at research on this part, but every decade after 30 that you're not strength training, you lose 5 to 8% of your muscle mass. 30 is not that old.
No, definitely not.
I say as I'm approaching
definitely
30.
Not. It's definitely
it's not. But
no, it's really not.
It's not. I don't know why. I know when we were kids, we were like, oh my God, 25-year-old. And now I'm like,
I
man,
know.
45 really just isn't that old. It doesn't seem like that old at all.
Mm-mm. Oh.
But I also think this generation is taking so much better care of themselves that, like, if I'm still functioning like I am now at 45, like, I'm gonna be great, you know?
Yes. And I think too what does help, just to kind of tie it into the last episode, I think too what does help is like this generation has social media, and you can see, because we even said back in the Blue Zones episode, and we talked about daily movement and things like that, um, that the United States has a blue zone. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So technically, now I think what's interesting is before, like when our parents were growing up, it was just about what everyone around you was doing. With social media, you can see what someone on the other side of the country is doing and how they live their lives and the health that they choose to implement into their lives, um, and learn from that. Because, like, when we had mom on the podcast, like, she said, like, working out really just wasn't a thing. And I think people around her weren't doing it. So now this generation has the opportunity to learn from everyone, even all around the world, and take whatever health tips and tricks they want to implement into their own lives and do it just by like swiping on your phone.
Yeah, I was thinking about that exact episode too, of like how she was like, we learned from our moms and our grandmothers because we didn't have the means to do the research on our own unless we were going to go sit our butt in a library and pull out a book. Like, you're not going to do that. But you
Mhm.
can go on your phone, do a quick Google search, and get the answer that you're looking for, which can be a blessing and a curse. But I think it's in this day and age, like, if you choose to look at it, it could be very beneficial to see what other people are doing. And especially that's
Mhm.
kind of why I wanted to do this episode, because I don't want our listeners thinking that you have to do it all or you can't do anything at all. Like, we need to find the
Yeah.
happy medium for where we're at, wherever that is.
Yes, and not everybody's regimen works for you because you live a completely different lifestyle. Like I know back a couple years ago, like I can't think of one off the top of my head. So if you can go ahead and say it, but there would be like certain influencers that's like so and so's ab routine, or like so and so's like full body workout, and like that's how they maintain their
Mm-hmm.
physique. And we never heard what so and so was eating or how so and so was sleeping or anything like that, to where it was always just, oh, if I do that workout, I'll look like them. And that's so not the truth. You need to take 3 of their workouts and 3 of this person's workouts and 2 of this person's health tips and just create your own regimen because you're your own person.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was long winded, but I feel like I got there.
Yeah, you did get there. And I think a
Okay.
lot of like what I'm in my head, I'm not thinking of like social media influencers. I'm thinking about like the grocery store checkout magazines where it's like these
Mm.
models or these celebrities that are practically starving themselves, but they do this 5-minute ab routine, and this is why they have abs. But no one was asking the question
Yeah.
of, are they only eating 5 pieces of lettuce a day? And is that why they have abs? They just played on your emotions of, you didn't feel confident in the way you looked, but look at that girl, just do that and you'll look just like her. And like, that could not be farther from the truth for so many different reasons. It's not just because of your workout, it's not just because of whatever conditions you have going on internally. It's everything. It's your sleep, it's your ability to absorb and break down food, it's your digestive health, it's your gut microbiome, it's the amount of movement that you do every day. Like, it is everything. It's the amount of plastic that you eat from your takeout containers. Like, everything plays into your body, how it functions, how it responds, and you're never going to look like someone else by doing the same workouts that they do. Period.
Yes, and I that should almost like be illegal. Is nothing screams more American than like people picking up those magazines, those like weight loss magazines and all that kind of stuff, when they have just like toxic soup in their cart in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and they've got their chips and
They're
their
like-
soda and their juice and their cereal.
Yes, because we've said in the past, like, there's so much toxicity in the grocery store that no one talks about, but they'll sell you a magazine for, I don't even know how much the magazines cost, that says like, oh, this celebrity does this workout. And you're like, oh, I'll give it a go. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Let's not forget that they're also right next to the candy bars.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. One thing that I want to make sure that I get out, because we were talking about strength training, that's kind of how we got to this point. But exercise, strength training specifically, the more muscle that you have on your body, the more improved insulin sensitivity you'll have. So that directly impacts your blood sugar and how you're able to manage and process the foods and how it circulates through your blood. So simply doing a strength training routine, even if it's 10 minutes a couple times a week, is going to be beneficial in so many more ways. And you might not see it right in front of your face, but long term, you're going to be happy that you had made the choice. And it's not going to be easy every time. You're going to have to force yourself to do it. It just is what it is. But do you always like going into work every day? Probably not, but you do it because you have to, you know?
Yeah. And I think kind of what we said, but strength training can be made easy if you strength train for your specific life. Like that grandmother that wants to like pick up her grandson, or me where I just like kind of try and like do the muscle groups that I use in my normal everyday life, just so like you're almost strength training just to like prevent injury sometimes too.
When I tell you, my coach, because I believe that coaches need coaches, my coach programmed for me when I was going through my pregnancy, and they weren't called what I think they should be called, but it was practically an exercise that mimicked putting a child into a crib, because she didn't want me to pull my back or do it improperly when the time came. So I'd use a 10-pound dumbbell and I'd bend over and put the thing in and pull it back. Bend it over. And I'm grateful that she did that. I mean, my child didn't go into a crib for over 6 months, but most kids do. So that's just one example where, you could use a dumbbell to train for the season of life that you're wanting to train for, which is fun, in my opinion.
I just had a vision of you cuddling a 10-pound dumbbell every night to sleep.
Putting her under my arm.
Yeah, every night.
Or
just practicing.
Doing I still do this with her today just because she's heavier. Obviously, it was easier to sit up in bed with her when she was smaller. But I have her on my chest and I throw my legs up and rock up to get up out of bed sometimes. You can do that too. I mean, you can see I've got all of my dumbbells here. I could easily take that to go train for it.
Absolutely. And I think let's bring back, because I think we've lost it so much with the yoga studios and the Pilates studios and the gyms and the lights and flashing. Let's bring back good old home workouts.
Yes. And one thing that I forgot to point out before I made it back to the gym, because I don't believe that you have to be in the gym. I just, in my opinion, because I want to lift a little bit heavier, I can get a better workout in because I have access to more in a gym. Here, I've got my 25-pound dumbbells and resistance bands and an exercise ball. So I'm a little limited, but that doesn't mean you can't get great workouts in at home. That's what I've done up to this point so far. But sometimes, especially when I was recovering from being sick, either the pressure in my head or I just really didn't want to do a higher intense strength training workout. I just wanted it to be quick and easy and fun. I looked up Pilates YouTube videos and I just followed along. I did those a couple times and I was like, this is actually kind of fun. I could do this. And if I start doing Saturday workouts, I'll probably do that just because it was fun. And I think it should be fun.
Yeah, I love a home workout just specifically because sometimes I do them in my pajamas and because it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a whole big thing. You can literally roll out of bed and do it in pajama pants. It's fine. As long as you don't mind like sweating in your pajama
We
pants.
wash those.
It's a personal preference. Yeah, it's a personal preference. I struggle, and that's why I like daily movement and just like mild strength training so much more than like intense workouts. Because my mindset when I was doing intense workouts was I'm doing these workouts and now I have to quote unquote fuel my body to match these workouts. And I was just pushing the protein. Granted, I wasn't educated, but I was pushing the protein nonstop because I was like, I need to do this and I need the pre-workout because I want to be able to push this much. And it was just a mess. And sometimes I think it just becomes a mess in the gym.
Simple. It needs to be simple. Everything.
Yes.
The gym.
Yes.
The diet. All of it.
Yes. And like the splits, the gym, like situations, it's so hard too because like life happens. And then what if you miss a day? And then you miss that for like the week, or like sometimes, let's be real, my little splitters, you don't like one of those days. And that's the day you choose to X off. Whereas if you just kind of did everything every day in some capacity, in some way, you would be able to kind of like get it in.
I also
no matter what.
feel like doing full body, I'm, dare I say, never sore because you're not overworking your muscles at one point in time. Obviously, when I get back into it, I'm a little sore because my muscles aren't used to that movement and that resistance. But after the first time, like, I'm good. I'm never sore. I can pee without pain. And not just for other pelvic floor reasons, but I can sit down and stand up from the toilet. I can go up the stairs. I can sit in a chair to eat dinner and I'm not like crippled.
Yes. Where I feel like when you're just strictly focusing, now granted, you can argue that you get better results when you're really honing in and focusing.
But that's all for
I
looks.
think you get better. Yeah, I think you get better results health-wise if your body as a whole is just collectively strong all the time.
Yeah. And I think the important thing to realize if we haven't like stomped our foot on this is that like the minimum effective dose is all you really need to be striving for. You don't need to try to do like 5 cycle classes and 2 yoga classes and all of these things. Like if you can find time, and I say find time because it's not going to find you, you have to find the time, you have to make the time, you have to prioritize the time in your schedule to get to the gym 2, maybe 3, maybe you can find 4 days a week. Do that for however much time you have. It could be a half hour. It could be 45 minutes. It could be an hour. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever is going to work for your schedule and your lifestyle is what you should do, period. And the more you're able to do that consistently, the more benefits you're going to see from it. And back to the steps, like at 4,000 steps a day, there have been improvements from people that do much less than that. But then the benefits just keep compounding the more activity you do, up to like 8,000. After that, it's kind of like overkill in a sense, but like I'm a person, I'm always getting over 8K, sometimes over 10K, sometimes over 13K because I have a walking pad. But just remember that it's the minimum effective dose and you have to meet yourself where you're at. You can't say, oh, I want to walk 10K steps a day and just like do it tomorrow when you're used to getting 3K. Like that's a bit much. But if you're like, man, I only get 3K right now, I really want to get 10K every day, maybe start at 3,500 tomorrow and keep track of that and keep doing it consistently and build it up.
Yes. One more thing I just want to like kind of end on and reiterate. you've heard the saying so much that abs are made in the kitchen. The body you want is always going to kind of be made in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
If you just have that minimal movement and that minimal strength training, but an amazing diet to back it up, your body's going to do what it's supposed to do, because when your body was created and evolved into what we are today, they didn't know gyms and huge heavy weights were a thing.
Just living life.
Yeah. So like the ideal body didn't know what a dumbbell was. So not that ideal body, the original body, I should say, didn't know what a dumbbell was. So just doing your normal activity, daily movements, and even people like that work on farms and stuff, they're like jacked, and you're like, what's your workout routine? They're like, I just work
I lift
on a
hay
farm
bales
or something. Yeah, like that's kind of what the body, but they're super strong and they have these daily movements to support their life, and it just works.
Mm-hmm.
So, end all be all, go for a walk and eat real food.
And if you can get some strength training in there, it's a bonus. You'll be better off for it.
Perfect.
Yeah, and remembering that the choices that you make now are a good predictor of what your future will look like, whatever that may be. And obviously you want to be making and taking steps in the right direction. Pun intended. If today's episode shifted your mindset from I need to do more to I need to do what matters consistently, then I think we did our job. You don't need extreme workouts, you need consistent movement that supports your real life. If this resonated, share it with a friend who feels like she doesn't have time for fitness, because the truth is, you don't need more time. You need a smarter approach. Make sure you're following us on Instagram and TikTok and also on YouTube so you don't miss future episodes. If you did listen to this show, either leave a comment or leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing so we can reach more women like you. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week on the Sis Let's Heal podcast.